All right, Crimson Tide fans, it's yours truly, Stephen Smith of Touchdown Alabama Magazine, joined by our breaking news reporter, Patrick Dowd, right here. We are live on location in Dallas for the 86th Goodyear Cotton Bowl college football playoff semifinal between Alabama and Cincinnati. Pat, what a game. We're here. We're taking it all in. There's a lot of electricity in the atmosphere. Both teams have prepped all week. Coach Saban has raved about the focus of this year's group. What are you expecting here in this matchup?
Well, I mean, but just based off the spread, I mean, everyone expects kind of a wide margin game. I think the spread is 14 right now, but honestly, I think it's gonna be a little bit harder of a game for Alabama. And just solely based off what they've shown us this year, it's really been a season of big peaks and big valleys for this team. I mean, it's really inconsistent, unlike most Alabama teams of the past. And I think in this playoff setting, Cincinnati has everything, just has nothing to lose. You know, they're the non-Power 5 team coming here. They're the clear underdog. As much as Alabama wants to say they're the underdog, I don't think I'd buy it, especially with the Cincinnati team that's coming in here looking for everything to prove.
It's going to be an interesting football game because you look at Luke Fickell has won championships before. He won a national championship as an assistant coach under Jim Tressel at Ohio State. That was 2002. He won another national championship as an assistant coach under Urban Meyer 2014 at Ohio State. So Fickell knows what it means to win, but now it's like this is his first time as a head coach getting this opportunity. And the big thing for Cincinnati in this game, Pat, will be quarterback Desmond Ridder, senior captain, a guy that can make all the throws, can make all the athletic plays with his feet. He has the ingredients that gives Alabama defenses under Nick Saban issues when you talk about over 3,000 yards passing, 36 touchdowns. He does have 8 picks. There are moments where he does put the ball in harm's way at times. What does Alabama need to do from a defensive front standpoint, most importantly the secondary, to offset Ridder, to force some friction, to create some sacks, and get some turnovers here?
Well, I think first and foremost, they need to stop the run, especially with Jerome Ford, the former Alabama tailback. I mean,
He's a Bearcat now.
He's a Bearcat. He's a Bearcat. Excuse me, the Cincinnati running back. My apologies, but you know, he's really the running game really is the key to the offense. I think they've run for almost 3,000 yards as a team, and close to just a bunch of, I think close to 30 touchdowns too. So I think a lot of their offense is set up through the run game. So I think if Alabama holds packed up front, which they've proven to do, I think they've had one of the top rush defenses in the SEC at least.
Number 4 in the nation, Alabama, against the run, giving up 82.8 yards per game. But once again, you're going up against a Jerome Ford that wants to show some things here in this matchup for the Bearcats. Now, for me, Pat, I look at this group of receivers for Cincinnati. It's not it's not a big name group, but these guys can get some things done. Alec Pierce, 50 catches, 867 yards. He's got 8 touchdowns. But the name of the circle is Josh Wiley, the tight end, number 81. 6 touchdown catches for him this year. He's going to be one of those tight ends that's going to be highly thought about next April when it comes down to the draft. And that's the position that has given Alabama secondary and linebackers some problems, those big tight ends. You go back to Texas A&M, Jalen Weidemeyer, 3 catches, 73 yards, a touchdown. Brock Bowers, SEC title game with Georgia. Bowers, 10 catches, $139 to score. So for guys like DeMarco Helms, Jordan Battle, Brian Branch, Christian Harris, Henry To'oTo'o, you got to keep your eyes on 81 Wiley. They're going to look for him all day.
Yeah, absolutely. And really, I mean, the key to the passing game is the tight end. But if you look at their whole offense, I mean, they really spread the ball around a lot between the rest of their receiving core.
6 players have at least 20 catches from Ridder.
Yeah, so I mean, I think that's a real boost for their offense. I mean, Alabama has to worry about a lot of guys as opposed to just one. And I mean, looking at Alabama's cornerbacks situation, I mean, we're going to see what Jalen Armour-Davis has to offer. I mean, I think he was listed as a game-time decision just to see what he does through warm-ups. But this is a big game, another big game for Kool-Aid McKinstry to really prove himself.
Another big game for Kool-Aid McKinstry, Pat. And if Armour-Davis, game-time decision, he's practiced all week. But another opportunity for Kyrie Jackson also, because he's gotten the bulk of the prep as they've been getting Armour-Davis ready for this game. Jackson, the JUCO from East Mississippi, has gotten community college, of course, has gotten the bulk of the prep. So it's going to be interesting to see what those two do out there as corners. But then also, DeMarco Hellams has been playing his best ball as of late against Auburn and Georgia. Can he continue that in this matchup? Jordan Battle had a pick 6 against Georgia. Can he continue his strong play? Brian Branch has come on strong as of late. Can these guys on the back end continue the strong play and not have bust in the secondary? Because that's also been an issue for the Titans, having those coverage busts. Can't afford to have those against a quarterback like Desmond Ridder.
Definitely can't. And I mean, Alabama. I mean, they can't give a team like Cincinnati anything easy. Whether that's turning the ball over offensively or giving up coverage breaks for long touchdowns. This is just it's the wrong time of year to have those sorts of errors.
Now, going over here to the offense here, Pat, you're going to get Bryce Young coming off the Heisman Trophy. First Heisman Trophy winning quarterback in the history of Crimson Tide football. He's focused, he's calm, he's cool, he's composed. What are you expecting the game plan between he and Bill O'Brien? How do you go about attacking a defensive secondary when you have a Sauce Gardner, a Kobe Bryant, 2 elite corners, the Bearcats number 2 in the country in passing yards allowed, number 1 in the country in pass efficiency defense? How does O'Brien and Bryce Young attack the secondary?
Well, I mean, they got to find ways to get Jamison Williams open, and that's going to be a lot more difficult now that John Mechie's lost for the season. I mean, they're going to look for guys like JoJo Earl and Trayshawn Holden or
Ja'Cory
Brooks to step up.
Everyone talking about a J.I. Hall. Everyone's looking at Hall here. Maybe keep your fingers crossed. But I think this is also, Pat, Jaleel Billingsley. I just go back to 2015. You have O.J. Howard. He's not really used to an awful lot. And then, bam, college football playoff happens at AT&T Stadium against Michigan State. And they get Howard the ball. It could set up the same way for Jaleel Billingsley, also Cameron too. We will see what happens, but it comes down to how does O'Brien choose to play this? Do you start off throwing the ball, trying to attack the secondary early, or do you get a healthy Brian Robinson going, a healthy Trey Sanders going, running behind this offensive line that, since the second half of the Iron Bowl, start to find itself a little bit, especially with Seth McLaughlin going in at center and putting Chris Owens back at right tackle, who had his best game against Georgia?
I mean, like we talked about with the inconsistencies all year, this group has been the most inconsistent. It's so uncharacteristic for Alabama teams. But I mean, just look. It's night and day between the Auburn game and the Georgia game. Just you never know what kind of performance you're going to get from this group, and they need something a lot closer to the Georgia game if they want to come out of this one with a win. And whether that's keeping the same group as they had against Georgia, or if Darian Dalcourt's healthy and he's re-implemented, I mean, we're going to have to see. That's all I'm going to say.
A lot of things will be figured out, Pat, once we make our way into the stadium. We get the pregame warm-ups. We get the final thoughts and the words from Saban prior to kickoff. This is huge. Crimson Tide in the college football playoff for the 7th time in the Saban era since 2014, where this venue originated. Alabama going after its first back-to-back national championship since 2011-2012 seasons. Coach Saban going after national championship number 8 overall, number 7 with the Crimson Tides. It's going to be fun. People, ESPN will have the call on the matchup. AT&T Stadium right here, 2:30 p.m. Central Time kickoff. The commentary team of Sean McDonough and Todd Blackledge will be on the call. But for us here at TDA, I'm your man Stephen M. Smith.
And I'm Patrick Dowd.
And people, enjoy the matchup.